Have you heard about the Great Cleavage Fire of 1994? Stick around. Hey guys, it's Dave, and we're back talking more about the making of Backlash, my very first feature film. Now, if you haven't seen the earlier episodes, make sure you go back and check them out, because it'll take you all the way through when we created the script, to casting, finding locations, and getting into this crazy journey of production.
Quiet, please.
So we're past the midpoint of the movie. Tommy is starting to go crazy, chasing after Jennifer. She's escaped to the mountains, we don't know where, and we're about to find out when Tommy confronts Alicia, Jennifer's sister.
I just really need to talk to her.
Okay, you want to knock it down?
Can I get you something to drink?
Good. Okay, now you kind of laugh it off and walk over here toward. We're gonna have the chair here. This is where you're gonna sit down and start looking through the photo album, so we can see her in the kitchen and you here.
I had to stay totally focused for Christian when I was directing him, because he maintained that low level of fire. He was simmering the whole time, and I didn't want to break that. With all the crew moving lights and everything else around, I thought it was really important to keep Christian in the mindset, in the character that he was in. Now, Wisconsin, who was playing Alicia, she was much more practical. Okay, tell me where to be. What's the motivation? Great, okay.
You want me to get so far as to open the door?
And then she would lock in and she would do it.
He's always been bad news.
Okay, let's slow that down just a little bit. To deliver the line. He's always been bad news.
Okay.
She'll realize that. She'll turn on that after she'll realize that. Okay, be turning on that.
Okay.
On that.
So Tommy discovers that Alicia's lying to him. And he kidnaps her, takes her up to Lake Tahoe, where there's going to be the big confrontation with Jennifer. And we're going to have Act 3 and the big showdown of our movie.
Take one.
Game's over, Smokey! Down!
So now we pack up our entire cast and crew, and we're going to move the entire company to Northern California to shoot all the action stuff for the end of the movie. Plus, the actual opening of the movie that was the bungee jump scene. I knew a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy who did bungee jumping, and we threw him a couple $100 and they came out on a Sunday morning, no permits, no nothing, with all their gear, 2 guys in camouflage with radios in the back of the pickup truck. We roll on the bridge, one of the guys peels off the truck into the bushes, the other guy peels off and runs across the bridge to the other side. They're both hidden in the bushes with walkie-talkies to warn us if there's any traffic coming. And the guy who's doing the bungee jump's like, listen, here's the plan. We're not going to wait around for the sun to be right. We're not going to wait around for everybody to be set and ready. We're going to go on that bridge. We're going to set up. And the minute I say we're ready, we're going to book onto the bridge, hook your people up. We're going to roll cameras and we're going to jump. Okay? Any questions? And I said, you go first. He says, all right, give me the camera. I give him the camera. He runs to the side of the bridge and poof, he bails over the side. You all right? Boing, 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 boing. Yep, that'll make a great shot. So we pull him up. We harness up our actor Christian, who was totally nervous to do this. We count 3, 2, roll camera, 1, jump. And Christian head first over the side of the bridge. We had the opening of our movie. And then Sonny, who was not going to jump in the movie, is like, Dave, I want to go. I'm like, Sonny, no way. I'm not going to put you in this kind of jeopardy. No, you do not get to jump. She's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I came all this way. I am jumping, David DeVos. I am jumping. She gets in the harness. She stands up there. She's a gymnast. She just spreads her arms and swan dives. Well, as soon as she came up, I'm like, heck, if you're going to jump, I want to jump. So I got in the harness and I jumped over the side. And then Jake, our producer, we put him in the harness and we lifted him up in what was called the coffin, and our entire crew threw him over the side. So at this point, we were just bungee jumping for fun. And we jumped and jumped and jumped. And we even threw Christian off 2 more times.
Yeah, I'd do it again. I got sick afterwards. I jumped, I think, 3 times. And after the 3rd time, my stomach was just in a knot, and about halfway up here to Lake Tahoe, I got sick in the car and had to pull over. Anything for the shot.
So after that, we make our way up to Lake Tahoe, where we all crammed into this little cabin owned by friends of ours on the lake with a dock down below and enough floor for everybody to sleep.
This one right here.
Actor Bale had to turn director.
Okay, we're losing it. Get it together.
Losing the light.
Losing the light. The earth moveth.
So now it comes time for the end of the movie, the big finale. And this is where we had a problem.
What are you doing? Calling the police. Don't! What?
Our main cop was supposed to show up at Lake Tahoe. He was supposed to make the drive up there himself, just like everybody else did. And he promised us that he would. And it came to the day, and he calls us that morning and he says, you know what, guys, I'm not coming. I just decided it's not worth me coming up. So what do you do when he doesn't show up? Well, you've got to rewrite the ending the night before you shoot. So Jake and I are putting our heads together to go, what do we do? How do we make this work with the elements that we have?
Dave says getting shot, gotta get shot.
And pretty soon, everybody's giving us their ideas.
After Jennifer says it's totally over,
Not a threat. That's not a threat.
you'll go to jail? What is it?
He's trying to convince her to come back to him.
Thank you.
Using a threat.
That's not a threat. That's
not-
just that's
He's
simply
saying
stating
that's
one
reality.
fact. We're not talking about emotionally.
It is.
That's reality.
If she survives, she's going to jail.
If she survives, she goes to jail.
Since when is Pointer a
She
sharpshooter?
shoots Tommy because Tommy's.
He's a rookie cop.
What's the
But what
story?
if Jennifer was protecting her from getting shot from either him or something?
That's what it is.
And she steps in front of.
I think the answers are in the
Oh, he
hat.
was in the National Guard.
I think the answers are in the hat.
The thing is,
We passed a hat.
These pieces of paper have written on them the
What does it
opinions
say?
of everybody in the room on how this movie should end. Number 10, the script here. Tommy and Jennifer both get fatally shot, and during their last dying moments, they crawl toward each other, but the blood streaming to their eyes blinds them, and they fall off the balcony and die on the rocks below.
So now comes the ending of the movie. Tommy and Jennifer are in this big confrontation. David is playing the character of Pointer down below on the dock. He's got the NATO-authorized sniper rifle that we had gotten earlier, and he's supposed to fire on her.
Pointer fires, take 2.
Jake and I had created our own squibs for the movie. We had tested and tested and tested again. We had a couple of magazines that we had taped together and taped to the chest of our actress, in this case, Sunny. And we had a little baggie, like a little sandwich bag, full of gunpowder, like a little quarter size of gunpowder. And we wrapped it and we wrapped it and we wrapped it until it was really tight. And we had a little rocket igniter on the inside of that. And that rocket igniter had a little lead, and that was attached to wires that would come down through her shirt, through her pants, out to wires that would go across the way to our guy on the battery who was ready to connect it and ignite that igniter, which would in turn ignite the gunpowder. And because it was compressed, and we had scored her shirt and everything else, and we had a little blood pack on top, it would go and it would shoot out the front, and she would fall back and we would have our shot. We put the squib in place, we ran the wires, everything was set. Until I turned away for just a minute to talk to another actor or to adjust a light, whatever it was. I took my attention off the situation for like 2 minutes. And here's the problem. When you don't have one person who's dedicated to that job, the safety expert, you get people who start to think they know better than you do. And while I was away just for a minute, somebody on our crew, and I'm not going to say who, decided that it was better to replace the baggie with a condom. Why? Because that's how they'd seen it done somewhere else. Now, they weren't involved in our testing. They weren't involved in the countless times that Jake and I had figured this out with the baggie and the right ratio and the right way of popping and everything else. They didn't know that we had spent weeks and weeks and weeks figuring this out. Nobody comes to consult with us. So now Sunny is a ticking bomb. We got ready to roll. David's in place. I'm in place. Camera's ready. Sunny's got the gun. Christian's over there. And I'm like, all right, here we go. Action. Alicia charges Tommy. Tommy hits Alicia. Alicia goes down. Tommy goes to shoot Alicia. Jennifer turns to Tommy to shoot him. Pointer down below turns up to Jennifer to shoot her. Says, put the gun down. Jennifer turns to him. He pulls the trigger. Kabang! Our guy hits the igniter. It goes to the squib. And what happens? Nothing happens. For a second. 2 seconds. 3 seconds. And then smoke comes up from her chest. And then fire, climbing up her neck, burning through her shirt. And what happened was they put the condom in place of the baggie, and they didn't tie it tight. They didn't score it the way we had done it. They didn't do anything the way we had tested it. And because there was no compression, instead of exploding, that gunpowder caught fire. And it burned right through the latex, and it started burning through her shirt and burning up Sunny's neck. And her eyes got really wide because she felt the heat. And she dropped the gun, and she just started shaking. And I ran to her and tackled her to the ground. And I reached into her shirt, and I ripped the magazine off her chest, and I held her. And I made sure that she was not on fire. And she was shaking so bad. Never, ever do stunts without professionals. We are so lucky that Sunny didn't get severely burned. In fact, we are so lucky that nobody died on our shoot. Jumping off bridges and doing car stunts and having people getting shot. There were so many stunts that we did that we got away with. Don't attempt stunts without trained professionals. So after 12 days running all over Lake Tahoe, we wrapped.
I'm off of this set right now. I've got a life to lead. I've got a life to lead and things to do.
And that was the end of production on Backlash. And now it was time for post. And little did I know what I didn't know.
January 17th, 1995, 1 year after the big LA earthquake, and we're still working on Backlash.
So if you're at all interested in post-production, what it takes to edit a film, do sound design, music creation, mix it, color correct it, do the titles, bring everything together in post to actually finish your film, make sure you come back next time, because I will share with you some of the darkest times I ever had making Backlash.
Dude, I'm stressing, man.
Guys, thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. At this point, if you would do me the favor, please, and hit that like button. When that little button turns blue, the YouTube algorithm sees that and goes, hey, people like this video. I'm going to share it with more. And my goal is to help as many young filmmakers as possible learn from my experience and stay safe on set. Hopefully this will keep some of you from dying. You don't want to do that. Independent film is scary enough, okay? And listen, if you want, subscribe to the channel because we've got 2 more episodes of this series to come, and that's it. Next week is going to be post-production, and the week after that is going to be distribution, and you don't want to miss it because you're not going to believe what happened to us in the middle of our premiere screening at the Independent Film Festival in New York City. I'll see you next week.